what I was thinking about before we hopped on today was I was thinking about talking about injuries and how we sort of perceive them and how to ultimately move yourself forward. Because what happens a lot of times when someone gets injured is it derails them and they're not really able to get back on the horse again. Like it's like, oh, I hurt my knee or I hurt my shoulder, I hurt my elbow. And then it's like, I can't work out anymore. So I stop working out and then I stop eating good and like everything kind of derails. Like that's a pretty common thing for a lot of people, not for everyone, but for a lot of people. And like we were talking about this yesterday. You were talking about how you've been struggling with this chest thing. Like you get this sort of strange pain in the sternum, and maybe it's like a
Inflammation in my sternum. Yeah.
yeah, and yet you still not all the time, but you still are focused on going and working out. Like you still go and do your thing. Obviously, if it's too painful, you don't, but it never like stops you. You keep moving forward, like no matter what. And I think
Well,
that's fascinating.
it's one of those things that it's like there's different parts of the body, and if you know, not even you don't even need to know anatomy, but if you know basic anatomy or a little bit advanced anatomy, there are exercises that you can, if one part of your body is hurt, there are other parts of the body that can be worked, and you can isolate that part and work the other parts.
Yeah.
And depending on what part is hurt and the severity of the pain or injury or whatever, you can go for a run, you can ride a bike, you can do air squats, you can, so if you hurt your arm, you can work your legs. If you hurt your legs, you can work your arms. If you hurt your back, to me, it depends on the level of hurt in your back and what the hurt is, because my back has been hurting like, oh my goodness. And I told you yesterday what I did. I went out and did, see how many? I probably did 15 pulls on a deadlift. I started out at 160 and I went up to about 200, 220.
Wait. So your back is hurting and you go out and you deadlift. Isn't
Let
that
me
isn't
back up
that
just,
isn't that
wait a minute,
counterintuitive?
let
Like,
me back up just a little.
all right,
My back is hurting to the point where I can't even walk right. It has affected my gait.
really?
It's
It's that
pain.
bad? I didn't realize it was that bad.
Oh, it comes and goes. Sometimes it's like, oh my goodness, I can't stand up, I can't walk, and sometimes it's like, ah, damn, man, it hurts. But this day, it had me in that place where it was hard for me to walk,
You're
and I
talking
just
about
got.
yesterday. Yesterday?
No, this was about a week ago. About, let me see, today is what? Today's Tuesday.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this was probably Thursday, or this was either Thursday or Friday of last week, and my back's been hurting for a month, and
I
it's
didn't realize it
levels
was
of
that
it.
bad.
Yeah, oh yeah, it complaining doesn't do anybody any good, and a lot of people don't want to hear complaining, so I don't even complain to Jolene. She just sees me holding onto the wall as I'm walking around, and as I'm standing up, I gotta strain to get up and sit down. I roll myself out with my foam roller. I do the ball. I've sat on that ball until I got a bruise. It's like, oh shit, wow, why does it hurt to the touch? Oh, I got a bruise. I'm
Yeah,
too dark. You can't see it, but trust me, it's there. When you're this dark, when you're dark chocolate, you don't see many bruises. But
yeah.
I decided, I was messing around in the back of my truck, and I said, listen, I need to do something that I think is going to help. I know how to deadlift. I
Before
know.
you go forward though, what happened that you hurt it? Like how did it go bad?
I just woke up. I think I slept wrong,
Oh, no kidding.
and it won't go away. And Jolene, I don't know, last week said, here, get this pillow and put between your knees when you sleep at night. It actually is helping me. Yeah. So anyway, I'm messing around in my truck, and it's like, I need to do something. I'm either going to make it a whole lot worse or I'm going to make it better. And I'm willing to roll the dice. At the end of the day, can't get much worse. So I went out and you know, in my gym I have mirrors, and my mirrors are not there for me to flex in. They're for me to make sure that what I'm doing correctly. I can actually watch my form, watch my posture, watch my setup, watch my execution, make sure that as just that second before I pull, I tense everything so that I'm kind of locked and loaded and ready for execution. And that's what I did. Normally, when I'm healthy and everything, I start my deadlift ladder at about 180 and I move up to 260, 270, 285, you know. But today, that day, I started at about 150, maybe 160. I wanted to go a little lighter.
And wait, just in case somebody else sees this, I just want to pause you just for a moment. But in case anybody sees this, I want them to get a little context, because you look like a 40-year-old guy.
I'm
How old are you?
I turned 63 last week on the 16th of November. So 7 days ago, I turned 63 years old. I'm 63 years old. I'm 6'1". I weigh 175 pounds, and I'm somewhere in the neighborhood of 10% body fat.
And you're going out on a healthy time, and you're starting out doing deadlifts at 180 pounds, and you work up to 280?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
280, 285. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can.
How
long have you been deadlifting? Just how long have you been lifting weights? Like,
oh, gee.
Seriously.
It was funny. Me and Jolene were talking about that today. I've probably been lifting weights for 25 years.
Nice.
On and off. I've been wanting to be and do fit most of my life. I had a weight bench in my bedroom when I lived in my grandmother's studio apartment.
Nice.
You know, I've always wanted to be strong because I've always been skinny and little, and you know, it's like one day I'm gonna be big and strong.
Yeah.
So one day is now, and I'm not real big, but yeah. I'm for damn sure not weak. You know, yeah. I'll let my pulls tell you if I'm strong or not. I've pulled 275 4 times.
Nice.
I snatch. I power snatch probably on a good day. I could power snatch 140, 135, 140.
Yeah, that's really good. Clearly you're crazy strong. It's crazy. It's amazing.
I wouldn't say crazy strong, but
well,
what I tell my wife,
most 63-year-olds, you kidding me right now? Like, we talk about this all the time.
What I tell my wife is, I just don't want to be a weak old man. That's all. Strength is relative. If I need to pick up my cell phone, I can pick it up. If I need to go out and pick up, you know, a wheelbarrow full of bricks, yeah, I could probably do that too. Yeah, if I need to go out and lift, you know, 20 bags of 80-pound cement that need to be moved from here to there, I could probably do it without taking a break.
Nice. Yeah. So anyways, I don't want to get too derailed, but like, I'm really interested, and I'm sure everybody else is interested in like how you go from being in some pain and kind of struggling through this low back thing, and you're out deadlifting and you're starting at 150 pounds.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, when I'm running on all cylinders, I start my deadlift ladder. Generally, I started around my body weight. And I weigh 175, and I got enough plates that I can do exactly 175. So I am either at 175 or 180 at the very start of my deadlift ladder. And I generally pull, let's say 180, I'll pull that 7 or 8 times. And then I just march up.
I want to know, like, what's going through your head? Like, my back hurts. I've been struggling with it for a while. It still kind of hurts. But you know what? I'm going to go outside and I'm going to deadlift, because that's counterintuitive. Even a lot of doctors are going to say, Keith, you need to not do that because you're going to make it worse. Like, what are you thinking? Like, what is the thought process?
It's one of those things that I kind of know, and it's through a little bit of experience, well, a lot of experience, some reading, some studying about how muscles work and how different lifts, how muscles move or contract during different lifts. The deadlift works, theoretically, it works every single muscle in your body, but most of the muscles on your posterior, on the back of you, everything back here from your ankles to your neck gets pulled really, really tight.
Yeah.
And because you're holding the bar in your hands, a lot of the front muscles get pulled tight too, because you got to have crazy grip strength to hold on to a bar that's loaded with, 300 pounds. So in theory, a deadlift works every muscle in your body, and then some muscles get worked a really lot harder. And those muscles are generally, I would say, from your glutes, from your gluteus maximus up to your traps. Those muscles get pulled and worked like you're wringing out a dish rag and you want it dry. I mean, it's like, ah. So I said all that to say that when I pull a deadlift, I understand the physiology of muscle movement, and I want all my muscles to squeeze really hard and then let go. Because that squeezing is like tightening the muscles that are in pain. And the letting go is like full and complete release. Because I feel like the pain that I'm in is my muscles are in a state of semi-contraction and they won't let go.
Yeah.
So if I squeeze everything real hard and then everything lets go, it's going to let go completely. And those muscles that are in that state of semi-contraction, pain, they'll let go too.
That's
fast forward.
Beautiful. It's beautiful.
No, I'm not. I'm Keith.
No, I said that's beautiful. I didn't say you were beautiful. Don't get a big head.
Sorry, too late. Look at this thing. But anyway, man, I go out there and I pull the 150, 6 or 7 times. And it's like, okay, that didn't hurt. Didn't feel like it was very heavy because I don't know how it works. Not really, at least when you start getting heavy. In my brain, it's, do I do one really heavy or do I do a whole lot of light ones and work up to that heavy, where I do 8 and then I'll do 6 and then I'll do 5 and then I'll do 3 and then I'll do 2. And each progression is heavier. I figured that the latter would be, first, it would give me a lot more reps. It would tighten loose and tighten loose. And the heavier I get, the tighter the muscles would get. And because of the amount of reps, and I just arbitrarily like, okay, how do I feel? I probably did 12 or 15 reps total. And each rep was a little less than the one previous. I might have done 2 of them at, 3 or 4. But I figured that if I can get all my muscles, even including the ones that were hurting, if I could get them and squeeze them tight enough and have them go from complete and total contraction to complete and total release. And the release, it's so strange. When I lift heavy, I can feel the release. It's like, it's a slow, steady release. I can actually feel it.
Yeah.
And
that's how it's supposed to be. They're supposed to shut off, right? Like that's how a healthy musculoskeletal system is supposed to relax when it's done working.
Well, when I lift heavy, and to me, this might sound a little, however, so what? But 200 pounds is not heavy. When I start at 180, 200 pounds is the next step, kind of. But I only did, I might have done 210 or 220. But anyway, the heavier I got, the fewer reps I did, but the tighter my muscles pulled. And at a certain point, at 180, 190, I said, okay, I'm starting to actually feel something, that when the muscles release, there was no pain. And that was probably at maybe 180, 190. It's like, oh man, this is actually working. Because it wasn't like I was, like I do 160. I'd hit that 7 or 8 times, and then I'd drop the bar and I'd go back to my truck. I'd take 5 or 10 minutes in between. And then I'd come back, load more plates, and then I'd hit it again and go back to my truck playing. And each time I would hit the lift, it was like, man, this feels good. It's like, yeah, I think it's working.
Yeah.
And ultimately, I think I went up to about 210. At 210, I think I did 3 or 4. And when I set the bar down, I could really feel the release. And I said, I remember I stood there. It's like, okay. And it was like, this is good. Yeah. This works. And probably for 2 or 3 hours, I was in absolutely no pain at all. The pain was completely shut off.
Yeah. 2
or 3 hours. And when the pain came back, it came back real slow. And it was like, do I feel, 10 minutes later, oh yeah, I feel it coming back. 20 minutes after that, it's like, oh yeah, it's coming back. And I realized, like, man, it's 8:30. Do I want to go out to my gym again? Nah. And I didn't. I haven't been back out there, and the pain is going up and down. It's bad some days, good. Today is not a bad day. And today I wanted to go to the gym and get me a Jolas. And the time just got away from me. I helping my wife hang curtains. Oh my goodness, of all the torturous things wives do. Help me hang some. What do you think, honey? Are you kidding? It's like, I don't think. Whatever you want, dear. Should I go get my tools? Really? Do I have?
Yeah, that's awesome.
But anyway, man, my experiment worked, and it was good.
Yeah, and what do you think? What do you think is the, because I don't necessarily, what we're saying doesn't necessarily mean that everybody with back pain should just go out and deadlift. Like, that's not what we're saying, right? We're saying
no,
that
absolutely not, man. I this is a thought thing. This took a lot of courage to go do something like that, because and
what do you think is the most important thing about being able to do this and have this kind of effect? And I'm kind of trying to lead you into this answer that I have in my head, but like, what do you think is most important? Like, let's just say somebody does have a little bit of back pain and they're hesitant to go out and deadlift. If they were to try to go out and deadlift, what would be the most important thing that they would need to do to be able to potentially get some of this therapeutic benefit, as opposed to making themselves worse?
It's a one-word answer. Good form. Oh, 2 words. Good 100%. Form.
You got to know.
If you got good form, then in theory you could lift anything. It just takes strength. If you got good form, the strength will come.
Yeah, if you can stabilize that spine and pelvis.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. If you can stabilize that joint where the pelvis and the spine and your pelvis, when you get to that point and you can pivot on your hips, then you're golden.
Yeah.
And kinda, I can do that.
Yeah. Only because you've been doing it for so long that you know the technique so well that you know when your spine is stable and when your spine is not stable. Like, when there's a deviation in those joints. Because I always look at the spine as like a stack of joints, right? We've got vertebrae, and in between each of those vertebrae are the discs. And at the top and bottom of each of those discs, it's like a joint, right?
Yeah.
And someone that really understands it, really has a good mental connection with the spine and the pelvis, they know when those joints are not neutral. And when the joints are not neutral, that's where bad things can happen structurally. Like, that's where we can get into like disc issues, and that leads into other things, right? Herniations, all kinds of other bad stuff. So as long as you can stabilize that.
It's like the guy that says, "Oh man, I can lift 250 pounds," and he walks over there and picks it up. The next day he can't move.
Yeah, and his back is like this.
Yeah, his back is all hunched over, and he actually does pick it up.
Yeah,
he lifts it. It's like, see, I told you. And the next day he can't walk. He can't roll out of bed.
Yeah,
and
I've been there. I've done that.
um,
This guy.
I don't know if I've been there because when I started deadlifting, I had a really good coach, and my coach Tony was telling me that, hey, flatten your back, hold your chin up, pull your knees back, watch. This is how. This is no, you're doing it wrong. This is and this is where coaching or is it coaching or is it someone that just knows more than you?
I mean, I don't think you'd want to be coached by someone who doesn't know more than you, right? They need to at least have some knowledge about what's going on so that they can pull you up the hill, right? A good coach is going to be someone who hopefully pulls you up the hill.
Well, yeah, but if I just have more knowledge than you, does that make me a coach, or does that just mean I know more than you?
Good question. Yeah. But I think if you're looking for a coach, someone to work with, you're not going to hire somebody who's not going to have as much knowledge as you or who's going to be less knowledgeable than you. Unless you
Yeah,
just
but
want a cheerleader. Because in fitness, a lot of times coaches are just cheerleaders. They just go, yay, Keith, great
it could be
job.
somebody that it could be somebody that would you want to have someone coach you that just works out all the time and doesn't read, doesn't study, doesn't watch videos, doesn't understand anatomy, doesn't understand the kinetic chain, doesn't understand muscle movement and joint movement and things like that. Because for me, I don't know if I would say it's a lot of my reading and studying and just being real observant. I know a lot of that stuff. So and then when I get somebody, like you, to make small corrections for me, it kind of reinforces what I already know. And it's like, I got this.
Yeah.
So, that's why I asked, do you want someone that weightlifts or lifts or trains more often? Or do you want somebody that's actually like a real coach and knowledgeable?
Yeah. And for me personally, like I would want both. I would want somebody that's done this stuff because there's a feeling to it. Like you have to understand what it feels like to be in certain positions, to do certain things. And like I raise my hand because I've done a lot of the wrong stuff.
Yeah, me too.
I've lifted the heavy stuff with the round back. Some of it was just ego, but yeah, I think you want both of that, right? I mean, wouldn't you say you want someone who's kind of been there, been in the trenches before, has done all these things before, and has the knowledge? You kind of want both, right?
Yeah, it's more beneficial if you have somebody that's done it and is doing it, as well as has kind of an internal knowledge of the various systems and movement patterns and blah 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 blah, blah kind of thing. Yeah, yeah. But for me, I just like it. I just it's just one of those things that some people like to sit and watch football, be the armchair quarterback.
Yeah.
Some people like to mow the lawn, have the golf course lawn. Yeah. I like to lift weights. I like to, like I said, my Jolas. That's what they call my wife. And my Jolas is, I'll give you a quick one. My Jolas is row 1,000 meters, then do 30 burpees, 30 sit-ups, 30 kettlebell swings, 30 air squats, and 100 jumping jacks for time. I do that in about 8 minutes.
8 minutes. That's amazing. That's really good.
Well, it's one of those. Oh, and my wife bought me a clock, so I can actually time it to the 10th of a second.
Yeah. Nice.
But that's about 8 minutes or so, a little more than 8 minutes.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And that's my cardio. I do that before I work out. That's my warm up.
Yeah. And how do you define like cardio? What do you mean that's your cardio?
That's a no-brainer, buddy. Get your cardiorespiratory system running on full. Get your heart rate to the max. What's it called? VT1, the talk test. When you can't talk anymore, you're in aerobic section. When I can't give me a minute. Let me catch my. Yeah, I go there.
Isn't that dangerous though? You don't want to go there. Do you want to go there? Is that dangerous?
It's only dangerous if you don't do it. I mean, what better way to get more fit than to push yourself slightly beyond your limit each time?
Yeah,
I
totally.
mean, it's one of those things that if you do it and it kicks your butt, you go back the next time, not necessarily the next day, but you go back the next time and say, I'm going to do the exact same thing and I'm going to win. And when it beats you again, it's like, shit, I'm going back again. And you keep doing it until you win, and the win is you're not like a fish out of water on the floor, gasping for breath, dripping sweat, and you can't talk. And when you get to that point to where none of that is happening, then you just up the ante. You add something else. Instead of doing 100 jumping jacks, you do 120. Instead of doing 30 of everything, you do 35 or 40. Instead of doing 1,000 meters, you do 1,200 meters.
Yeah.
Start the process again.
Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, so I think it's good for people to hear that there is a different mentality around how to deal with injuries. If you're doing the things right, it could be more like whoever thought deadlifts would be rehabilitation, and it can be. But again, there's some caveats to that. We got to just make sure that you know exactly what you're doing. Got to make sure that you know how to deadlift well or squat or whatever it is that you're doing. You have to make sure that you move really, really well. That's so, so important. And that, a lot of these movements are nervous system stuff. We have to train the system to be able to control those joints and create beautiful movements so that your risk of injury is almost zero. And then it becomes more of a rehab than it does like a bat.
It's like self-rehabilitation, and it's not just a deadlift. Sometimes I get a pain in my shoulder.
Yeah.
I'll go out and get on my pull-up bar.
Yeah.
And just hang. I'm not going to do a pull-up. I just hang. What's it called? A dead hang?
Yeah.
Not a hollow body, dead. Where I just hold on to the bar and let everything stretch out.
Yeah.
Pull my feet off the floor. And what's my hang time? I think I'm up to probably, I don't think I'm up to 34 seconds, 36 seconds. I think that's my middle of the road hang time when I did measure it. But when I have shoulder issues, upper back issues, it's like rolling doesn't get it, the ball doesn't get it. I need to go and hang.
Yeah.
So I go out and hang around a bit.
Yeah.
So it's not always therapeutic, and it's probably not always real wise.
How about this? Do you think, do you spend a lot of time being hurt? Are you hurt a lot?
I'm an old man. Are you kidding? I got old man issues. You wait till you get something you have to look forward to, brother. Take it from you. You can live vicariously through me now for you.
So that's a yes. So you're hurt a lot.
I'm not hurt. I don't hurt myself. I don't go out and do things that hurt me. It's kind of like I don't hardly, in my brain, I don't get sick. I almost never catch a cold. I get hurt. And I don't necessarily hurt myself as much as I might sleep wrong. I might sleep with my arm on my head and wake up. And now my shoulder is like, oh, damn, what did I do? It doesn't take much.
Yeah.
When you're my age.
Some of the perception is, as we get older, we got to be a little more careful with lifting weights. We got to be more careful. And I would argue you got to be careful all the time. But do you find that just because of the weightlifting that you do and the conditioning stuff that you do you feel like that's hurting you more than helping you? Or
absolutely not. Absolutely not. My back, was it my back? No, my hip. What did I do? I don't know what I did. It just started hurting one day. Like I said, old man issues. You just wait.
So Alzheimer's. You get Alzheimer's.
Hey, don't hate, man. Something you got to look forward to, dude. But I'm doing this thing called an animal flow, where I just go out in my backyard and I crawl around on my hands and feet, not hands and knees, but hands and feet.
Yeah.
My hip was hurting. I'm like, all right, let me go out here and crawl around my yard. my wife stands in the window and videos me because I look so silly. Like, wife, go away. Don't you have something else to do? But I went out and crawled around in my yard for, 2 or 3 minutes. No more hip pain.
Yeah.
And it's a mindset, and it's a conditioning that allows me to work my body. It's almost like, depending on what it is, I can work the pain, the stiffness, and the soreness out of my body just by being physical, just by moving.
Yeah.
To me, movement, we are meant to move as humans. And when you sit still and are sedentary, sit in front of a computer or whatever, where you're not moving, you're setting yourself up. Kind of.
Yeah. It's almost like the risk of not doing this is bigger than the risk of doing it.
When
I say doing it, I just mean working out, like formal sort of training, stuff that you're doing.
Yes, and just like in anything, if you do it long enough, I'm a builder. I build, you build stuff long enough, you're gonna make a mistake. You're gonna cut a piece of wood too short. You're gonna cut that $60, the last board you put on, you're gonna cut it short. And just like anything, if you lift weights and train hard enough and long enough, you're going to hurt yourself. You're going to pull a muscle. You're going to strain a tendon. You're going to tweak your back or your arm or your whatever. You're going to drop a plate on your foot. I've never actually done that. But if you do it long enough, you're going to get hurt, and you're probably going to hurt yourself just by being a little overzealous. Believe me, I've done a lot of that nonsense. You ask my wife.
Me too.
Yeah. But
I think every athlete, anybody that's lived this life, I call it the athlete life. Like, you live the athlete life, I live the athlete life. Like, we work with a lot of people that have lived this athlete life. If you're really, like you said, if you're going to be in the game, it's not 100% safe, safe zone. Like, the safest place is probably in a room with with padded walls. But then again, something else is going to get you, right? It's safe, maybe orthopedically, but not in a lot of other ways. But yeah, I mean, if you're going to be out there doing your thing, there is a chance that things are going to get hurt. But there's a mindset. There's a different mindset. I remember like lifting once. I was on in this gym, and I was part of this lifting team, and the head coach was a chiropractor. So he had his office in this gym. It was right when I moved to Raleigh, and so I go there and I'm working out, and I remember like my back started to bother me, and I'm like, can you treat me? And there was like a meet coming up in like a couple of weeks, right? And I was kind of limping around, and he's got me in there, and I'm like, dude, like, I have to train tomorrow. Like, you have to fix this so I can train tomorrow. Like, there's a different mindset, right? There's like, there is no like take the week off. Like, if you're driven and you really want to live this kind of life, you can expect some of these things, but you have to understand that they're just little speed bumps. They're just bumps in the road, that they're challenges that we need to overcome. It's not the end. It doesn't mean you should stop. We always want to be safe, but it's to be expected. There's going to be things that come up, and it's just how you deal with it that's more important than anything.
Right? Well, I've between my chest hurting, and this was like really bad for a couple of weeks. I could hardly breathe. And then my back hurting. I went out to my gym yesterday, and I looked at my paper. I write down all of my workouts, everything I do. I write it down.
Yeah.
Day, date, and what I do. The last time I was in my gym and did a workout was November the 2nd. And today's the 23rd. I've been out of my gym for 21 days.
Didn't you just deadlift yesterday? Was it yesterday?
No, that was on Friday. I don't count that as a workout.
Gotcha.
I just lifted some heavy shit. I just went out there to see if I could help my back a little, and I lifted, 12, 15 times. Like, that's not a workout. That's not a workout for me.
Yeah, I got you.
Deadlift is one of 4 things that I do for my workout.
Yeah.
But I've been out of my gym for 21 days and for 3 weeks, and I can't wait. I am chomping at the bit. I go and stand there, and tears come to my eyes, because it's like, I'm coming back. Please don't forget me, guys. I'll be back. Please don't, I miss you too.
Yeah.
You
You don't want,
so,
you don't want the dumbbells to walk out of the room and just leave.
yeah, my
somewhere
plates
that you're
start rolling down the driveway. I was like, come on, guys, I'll be back. You gotta believe me. I went out there yesterday and actually dusted off my rower.
Nice.
My rower has no dust on it.
Nice.
Yeah. So
awesome.
And
awesome.
I am going back out there tomorrow.
Cool.
I'm gonna get me a Jolas, a little one, and I'm going to get me and I gotta say it like this, not crazy, but I'm gonna lift me some heavy shit.
Nice.
I'm gonna lift some heavy shit. I am because I need it. I need it. It's not my drug. It's a passion.
It's who you are. Like it's your life, right? It's like part of it's like wrapped in your identity. Like I am this fit person. I am this person who likes to be physical and likes to perform well, likes to be strong, likes to be fit, because we get something out of that. We can enjoy, I believe we can squeeze life's lemon just a little bit more when we're in great shape.
I've done workouts, hard ones, and where I've done heavy and a lot of reps and a lot of, and afterwards I'm standing there. It's like, man, I feel great. I wish I could bottle this. I said, if I could bottle this feeling, I would sell it. Not for very much, but I would definitely sell it because it's like a high. It's like winning.
Yeah. And it's not just for runners. Like a lot of people think like the runner's high, that's a thing, but it's like an exercise high. It goes with just about anything that you do that's physical related.
Yeah. And that's part of the reason it's like chasing the dragon. You got that first one. I want to get it again and again and again and again. Yeah. So you just go out there or I go out there and grind myself until I can get it. And when I get it, it's like, come to daddy.
Yeah.
And and then I just, as a result of me having my own gym, spending money on the different equipment that I have. My wife bought me my rower last year for my birthday.
Remember
but the different equipment that I have, the setup that I put together, you saw my gym, you know what it looks like. I got mirrors and music and big ass speakers.
Like you got a whole like separate room or separate building.
Oh yeah, it's an outbuilding. It's like a storage
like you got like a full-on like building for your gym. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's my man cave. Man cave. No TV.
Next level.
No kegger, no beer, no couch.
It's nice.
I got a rocking chair that I found on the side of the road. I've been meaning to refinish. Haven't got it yet. But yeah, I got carpet on the floor. So when I do my burpees and crap, I don't roll around in too much garbage.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, it's one of those things that us old guys, should try to maintain their self. It helps my life.
Yeah.
There's very little that I physically cannot do. I mean, within reason. Yeah. I can run, I can jump, I can lift, I can pull, I can crawl, I can fall down, I can get up, I can. Yeah,
man. You got it.
I'm looking to run my next Spartan race come spring. Next one, I've already done one.
Yeah, man. I was there. I think I was there.
I think was it you? I think it was you. Somebody looked like you.
So yeah, let's wrap this up. We got some work to do, but we'll wrap this up and we'll do this again. We'll come up with some other topic and we'll talk about it and kind of hash it out. It's always good to get your thoughts and your ideas because I always tell you, you're an inspiration to me, like to be in your 60s and to be as in good a shape as you and to be able to see your abs and like, you're like living this life. It's amazing what's possible if you take great care of yourself. So Thank you. Thank
Well,
you for being amazing.
it's just what I do, and for me, it's easy.
Yeah, dude, you're leading from the front. You're inspiring others.
And it's, to me, again, in conclusion, it's not just working out and training. It's a lot of other stuff. You know, I get good sleep. All I drink is water. I eat well. Tonight I had pork chops, baked sweet potatoes, and peas and carrots. That was my dinner.
Yeah, awesome.
You know, so I eat well, I sleep well, drink lots of water. I only beat my wife on Wednesdays. No, I only
Jeez.
so her beating's coming up tomorrow.
I'm surprised she's not down here kicking your butt right now. Just so everybody's watching, Keith's wife is amazing. She is amazing. She's incredible. And, I'm pretty sure she would kick your ass.
Well, probably.
Yeah,
probably. She's if she wouldn't kick my ass, she's from Africa. She might shrink my head. You know, put something in my food.
All right. On that note, I'm out of here.
I'm out of here too. All right. Peace, y'all.
No way. No way you said that.